everybody. Welcome to another episode of Ask Jade. This episode, I am going to go over some employer responsibilities when it comes to safety in the workplace. So if you have employees, or even just as a business owner where people are coming to your work site or place of business, things that you need to be aware of safety-wise. So we all know about OSHA. They provide guidelines when it comes to safety. So, in general, they say you got to provide a workplace that's free from serious recognized hazards and comply with OSHA, essentially. And when they say recognized hazards, if there's a hazard that you don't know about or you would have had no reason to know about, not been put on notice for any reason, that's not your responsibility. But serious recognized hazards are. You have to make sure your employees have safe and proper tools or equipment to use to effectively do their jobs. You need to post posters or labels or signs to warn employees of potential hazards. You need to establish or update operating procedures to communicate that to your employees and what they need to be doing to stay safe. Employers that use hazardous chemicals in the workplace, you must develop and implement written hazard communication programs and train employees on the hazards they are exposed to and take proper precautions. Examples would be, even if you have a cleaning business, those are hazardous chemicals, those chemicals that they use to clean. So you need to have something in place for that, or even just a mechanic shop working with different, oil and different things that go into cars. Those can be considered hazardous chemicals. So those are things to be aware of. You do have to post in a prominent location within the workplace the OSHA poster so employees can see it and be aware of their rights. The OSHA poster is available for free on OSHA's website. If you don't have one, you can get one. You also need to keep records of work-related injuries and illnesses. Do note, though, employers with 10 or fewer employees are exempt from that requirement. You also are not allowed to discriminate against employees for exercising their OSHA rights, of course. And OSHA just encourages all employers to adopt a safety and health program. To also be aware of what your employees' rights are, or if you're also an employee somewhere or even an independent contractor, what your rights are under OSHA. So if you believe that you are at risk of a serious harm due to working conditions, first step, you have to talk to the employer. Second, if they don't follow up, then you put your concerns in writing, which would be filing a complaint with OSHA. You can also refuse to work if all of the following are true. So you've complained already about the dangerous condition. They refuse to do anything about it. You are refusing in good faith, meaning that you honestly believe there is some sort of imminent serious threat to your health and safety. A reasonable person in the same situation would agree that there's an immediate danger. And because of the urgency, there isn't time to wait for the unsafe condition to be corrected through the proper channels, such as having OSHA complete some sort of investigation. So you can refuse, or employees can refuse, once they follow those steps. Now, of course, in the midst of COVID, OSHA has updated procedures for employers to follow. So I'll go over those briefly. So you need to develop an infectious disease and preparedness response plan. You need to identify where, how, and what sources might expose your workers, such as the general public, customers, coworkers. Identify sick individuals with high-risk infections, such as if you have international travelers, if you work near or around healthcare workers, and then workers with individual risk factors such as older age, chronic health conditions, even workers that might be pregnant. You need to prepare and implement basic infection prevention measures. You need to promote frequent hand washing, including providing workers and customers and worksite visitors a place to wash their hands. If you don't have soap and running water available, then you need to have hand sanitizer available. Encourage workers to stay home if they're sick. Encourage, respiratory etiquette. Encourage respiratory etiquette, such as covering coughs and sneezes. And if possible, establish flexible work sites such as telecommuting, flexible work hours such as staggering shifts, and just try to increase distance between employees as much as possible. And also just maintain regular housekeeping, routine cleaning, disinfecting of surfaces and equipment. You also need to develop policies and procedures for prompt identification of sick people. Employers, you need to inform and encourage your employees to self-monitor for signs and symptoms of COVID. Employers, you also need to develop policies for employees to report when they are sick and make them feel comfortable to be able to do that. Actively encourage employees that are sick or having symptoms to stay home. Let them know and ensure them that sick leave policies are flexible during this time. Do not require a doctor's note if an employee is sick, and just maintain flexible policies to permit them to stay home if they're sick or to also care for family members. The big thing under the new OSHA policies is that you are obligated to provide your employees or your workers with PPE needed to keep them safe while they're performing their job. The types of PPE required during COVID, it's based on the risk associated with them doing their job that could lead to exposure, but this is a requirement. And then, of course, always just following the existing OSHA standards. This does get a bit more detailed, and if you have questions, I am happy to help. And always, reach out to an attorney for more information, such as myself. And I'll talk to you next time.